Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
This video has been a long time coming. Everyone loved that What Happened to Michael Orr video I made a while back, and I even got recommendations to make this one specifically. It also just happens to focus on probably my favorite movie of all time, Remember the Titans. Now, if you're an ultra Remember the Titans fan like me, you've probably wondered what in the world happened to everyone from Julius to Petey to Bertier's mama. And that's what today's video is all about. I mean, maybe we won't dive into the current whereabouts of Bertier's mama, but we will go over the football careers and the lives of the major characters in the movie. It's probably a good idea to remind you that the T.C. Williams desegregation was a long time ago, and since the Titans' undefeated season in 1971, a lot has obviously happened to our favorite high school football team to ever make it on the big screen. So we're going to go over that, and we'll also sprinkle in some interviews from the real Titans. That way we all get to know the faces and voices of the people behind the characters in the movie. So without further ado, let's begin with Sunshine.
You know, winning solves a lot of problems, and it solved a lot of problems for the school and the city, really.
In the movie, they made it clear Ronnie Bass had some talent, and that was true in real life as well. Sunshine went on to play at South Carolina in college. After redshirting and backing up for a few years, he would become the Gamecocks starter in 1976. Unfortunately, he had a knee surgery in college that took away some of his dual threat ability, but he still started for 2 years with the team hovering around 500. And at one point, he was named the Sports Illustrated Player of the Week. He finished his college career with almost 3,000 passing yards and over 1,000 rushing yards. He figured he was too small for the NFL, so he opted to do broadcasting instead. He worked for ABC and NBC as a sports analyst, and now he's a sales manager for a local TV station in South Carolina. Bass's son said he always thought it was cool growing up with his dad being the real Sunshine, and that must have had a real effect on him because he ended up playing quarterback in high school just like his father. And this time around, there were entire fan sections chanting Sunshine when he played. Of course, the Sunshine legacy has also kind of made its way into the NFL now, with Trevor Lawrence often receiving the nickname. If you're wondering, big fella Louis Lastik remained good friends with Sunshine until death in 2017. He played college football at Austin Peay and then went to work as a product control manager.
I was a cusser, I was a fusser, but I was also a hugger.
Before Herman Boone ever moved to Alexandria, he had already coached what had been called the #1 football team in the nation back in North Carolina. So if there was anyone who could conquer the impossible task of desegregating football teams from separate schools and building a winning culture, he sounded like a pretty good choice. With the Titans going undefeated alongside racial tensions that were actually worse than the movie portrayed, including the time Boone's neighbor's house got burned down with someone thinking it was actually his house, there are about 1 million reasons his name should be immortalized amongst football's greatest coaches. After that 1971 season, he won 4 district titles and 2 regional championships. In 1979, he was controversially fired as head coach, with some pointing to his old-fashioned, borderline cruel coaching style. He continued to teach physical education, though, at T.C. Williams for some time, and was honored in Alexandria as a living legend until 2019, when he died at the age of 84. Boone's right-hand man and defensive coordinator Bill Yoast served as the team's defensive coordinator until 1996. Of course, Yoast also deserves credit for bringing the team and community together as well, and just like Boone, he stayed connected with the area until he died in 2019. Gerry Bertier was the most talented player on the entire Remember the Titans team. He led the undefeated team as a defensive captain, with his unit tallying 9 shutouts, in 13 games. He had 42 sacks that year and was without a doubt one of the best high school players in the country. He was recruited by big-name schools like Notre Dame, and even though he lost his football career in that devastating car crash, he still set records in the wheelchair Olympics and helped raise money for the Special Olympics. As shown in the movie, Bertier had a special ability to not only play ball, but also bring people together. Even though he lost his life to a drunk driver at the age of 29, he was able to accomplish so much in such little time. The gymnasium at T.C. Williams was named in his honor, and I've actually had the opportunity to visit it myself. Julius Campbell was the other anchor of that great Titans defense. His bond with Bertier has always been one of the best parts of the team's story. After Campbell graduated in 1973, he attended junior college with hopes to play at Ohio State. Unfortunately, he suffered an ankle injury that derailed his career. He stayed in Alexandria and contributed to scholarship programs and frequently spoke to schools about the team's story and how important it is to stop racism and bullying. In 2019, Campbell died at the age of 65. Like many other Titans players, Petey Jones remained in Alexandria after high school. Actually, Jones in a way remained in high school as he worked as a security guard for T.C. Williams for 3 decades. Sadly, he passed away in 2019, but you could argue no player gave to his school more than Petey Jones. Blue Stanton, the heart and soul of the Titans, set forth on a path to help at-risk youth until a fatal car accident in 2017. He'll always be remembered for starting the Ain't No Mountain High Enough jingle in the movie. And finally, Jerry Harris, aka Rev, is part of the Payroll Services Department for Alexandria Public Schools. From what I've read, it seems all these guys have created bonds for life. Maybe more important than anything though, they'll always remember the lessons they learned as Titans.
We had a player by the name of Darryl Blue Stanton. He thought he was a professional singer. The singing kind of, that's another thing that brought a lot of us together because, you know, being black and white and people learning each other's songs, you know. And, that was a lot, one of the main reasons that helped us come together as a team.